I comb through the articles that I know he has already read before me because his sticky jam fingerprints mark the pages. There is something comforting about the fact my uncle has read the articles first, even if he doesn't talk out loud about what is happening in Syria. Like my uncle, I am hungry to read every word I can about Aleppo, about the families from my country who were not as lucky as me, who are fleeing from towns that are under siege, taken over by violent radicals or by the government under the guise of stopping violent radicals. I read about how Europe and America no longer want to allow people who come from my country to move to their shores for safety. I read about families stranded on shaky boats, trapped in refugee camps. I search every day for a mention of my brother, and I never find one. I search every day for a clue about why I deserve to be here in Aunt Michelle's kitchen, safe and fed, when so many others just like me are not. Lucky. I am learning how to say it over and over again in English. I am learning how it tastes, sweet with promise and bitter with responsibility. Chapter 23. The day before Thanksgiving, in every one of my classes, we are asked to talk about what we are grateful for. Mrs. Ravenswood explains that Thanksgiving is a time when Americans give thanks. THANKS. She breaks down the word for us into tiny pieces so we can digest it. Think about it. Ben shares that he is thankful his father will have a long break from work soon and his whole family is taking a trip to New York City. Grace smiles at Mrs. Ravenswood and says she is thankful her English is getting better. And we all applaud her. Omar goes next. It takes him a moment to speak, and I wonder if, like me, he is searching for something to say. If he is struggling with how you can feel so lucky and unlucky at the very same time. I am grateful to be here, he says quietly. We all nod because we all know what Omar is trying to say. What he can't quite manage to say in English, what is almost impossible to say. We are lucky to be here when so many others aren't. But we don't understand the luck of why or how, just the luck. The better our English gets, the better we get at reading the newspaper articles, the signs, hearing the radio about how so many people don't want us here. Finally, it is my turn. I want to say I don't feel lucky or grateful because I want to say I don't feel lucky or grateful because my brother has gone to a war zone and I don't know if he will ever return. But instead, I say, I am grateful for my brother. I talk about him. I talk more than I am supposed to, but they don't mind. At first, I think I want to tell them about how brave Issa is, how he is risking his life because he believes so much in a better version of his country. But then I think about why I love my brother. I do love that he is brave, but I also love the way his whole body shakes when he laughs, and how he can hit all the notes when he sings Whitney Houston, and how I was younger, he would put me on his shoulders when we were walking down by the sea, and I felt like the woman from the Arabic myth who can see so far into the distance that she can see the future. Mrs. Ravenswood helps me with the English words that I stumble on, and nothing comes out the exact way I want it to. My voice cracks more than once, from sadness, from frustration that I can't say what I truly want to say. I do not have the right words to describe the space between my brother's eyebrows that wrinkles when he is laughing or deep in thought. But in talking about him, in saying anything, even in my mangled, fractured English, I am imagining him, imagining and wishing and hoping that he is safe. Hoping, I'm starting to think, might be the bravest thing a person can do. All right, y'all, that is it for part 3 of this book. Make sure you check in next week for part 4.